Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Chat back into the video today. And today, the Dallas Cowboys have released running back Ronald Jones II, who is most known for his work with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as he spent his first 4 seasons with the Buccaneers and almost ran for 1,000 rushing yards in the 2020 season for the Bucs, and only played in 14 games that year with 13 starts, and was 20 yards shy of a 1,000-yard rushing season with the Buccaneers in 2020, and had some, solid years with the Buccaneers, but was signed by the Dallas Cowboys this off season. And I think in August it might have been July or August, Ronald Jones II was suspended for a PED violation, and it was a 2-game suspension. And now that 2-game suspension is up, the Cowboys have already played their first 2 games of the year, beating the Giants 40-0 and beating the Jets 30-10. So now that suspension is up, the Cowboys don't want to keep him and they want to release him. It makes sense. Tony Pollard's been great. He wasn't a threat to Tony Pollard, but I think there are other running backs that they have that have been playing right now, Deuce Vaughn, and I think there's somebody else in that running back room. They've liked what they've seen from them, and I don't think they have any plans for Ronald Jones II. So they're just cutting him and letting him be a free agent, and maybe someone picks him up. But, last year he was with the Chiefs for 6 games, and that's who he played for, and he only had 17 rushing attempts with 70 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. And he did have 22 receiving yards, so wasn't terrible last year, but only didn't play that much with the Chiefs, but wasn't that great. I'm sure someone will pick him up, though. Let's go over some of his stats. Let's go over his 4 years with Tampa. 16 games, 3 starts in 2021. I think you started to see a less of a role for him after the playoffs were over and Leonard Fournette showed what he showed in the playoffs. And at the end of the season that year, that 2020 season with the Bucs, he had a great year that year. 2020 season, like I said, he had almost 1,000 rushing yards. He had almost 10 rushing touchdowns. But then the year he got hurt, even though he was having a fantastic year that year, he got hurt at the end of the year. Then it was time for Leonard Fournette to step up. And oh boy, did in the last couple games. I think that was the last 2 or 3 games you saw Leonard Fournette start to step up for the Bucs, and he was looking great. Then fast forward to the playoffs, we saw playoff Lenny, and then the next season, I don't think Ronald Jones, after having the injury he had a season-ending injury. I don't know I don't know what season-ending injury it was, but he had a season-ending injury in 2020, and he came back. Fournette already earned that starting job. He only started 3 games in 2021 and played 16 with 4 rushing touchdowns and 428 rushing yards in 2021. 2020, 14 games, 13 starts, 192 rushing attempts with 980 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. He also had that year, he had 165 receiving yards with 1 receiving touchdown. 2019 was a solid year for him, 16 games, 9 starts, and had 726 rushing yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. That year he also had 309 receiving yards. And then his rookie year was not great at all. Played 9 games with 44 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So, yeah, had 2 really solid seasons, or I guess you could say 3 really solid seasons with the Bucs from 2019 through 2021. 19 ran for 725 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. 2020 ran for 980 and 7 touchdowns. 2021 ran for 430 and 4 touchdowns. And then Kansas City only played 6 games with them, had 1 touchdown and 70 yards. Now, after being suspended for the first 2 games, the Dallas Cowboys will release Ronald Jones II, and he'll be a free agent, and any team that is looking for a running back can pick him up. So I think it's going to be interesting to see who picks up Ronald Jones II after having nearly 1,000-yard rushing season in 2020. And only played 14 games. He would have, if he didn't get hurt at the end of that year, he would have had 1,000-yard rushing season. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Your thoughts on the news, and that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.